What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Shrouded Fable. It's been about a week since the set has been released. As per usual, a lot of these cards have dropped in value, but there are a few that have gone up in value and a few that I think are going to go up in value. So let's get right into it and talk about some of the cards that have been dropping in value and some that have been dropping pretty drastically. So first up, we've got the Cassiopeia SIR. This card's dropped, pretty consistently. It dropped off pretty hard, but of course, prices are pretty inflated on that first week of release, even like pre-order prices, I guess. Right now, it's sitting at $92. It's going to continue to go down from there. I don't think this is anyone's like huge number one Scarlet and Violet card yet. It is a special illustration rare. The pull rates are really difficult, but I don't really see this card sustaining like a $90 value. I think it'll drop down to like $80 within the next week or two. Next up, Pheasantipity. This card was like pretty high on release, about $100. It's a very competitive card, and I think Worlds is going to kind of determine the value of it going forward. If it doesn't perform well in any of the decks at Worlds, it's just going to drop. I could see it dropping drastically. Like, I don't think the Loyal 3 are really any Pokemon anyone's really like in love with, anyone really wants. This card is nice, but artwork won't carry it. Like you see with those Ogre cards, it's just not something everyone's looking for. But right now, sitting at about $74, been pretty consistent this last week. But give it 2 more weeks and we're going to see what's going to happen. It'll either sustain or drop, relatively drastically if it doesn't perform well. There's also other variants of this, so I think that max rarity, I don't really see it sustaining. From there, Okidogi SIR, this one's just dropped drastically. Right now, sitting at $37. I don't think it's going to go up. It'll be consistent at this or drop even more going forward. Monkey Dory as well, no signs of slowing down. $27 and just continuing to fall. I don't see this card really staying too high in value either. It's definitely the weakest of the three. So yeah, down 33% in this first week or two. It's going to keep dropping. I don't see this really being above $20 long term. From there, the Petron, this one dipped and has slightly gone up again. It's still down a lot from release, going for about $28, $29 right now. I could see it going up a little bit. I think this might be another one of those cards that's possibly playable. It's going to depend how it performs at Worlds, if anyone's running it in their decks. It's a cool card. I like it more than the other three we just covered. Not as much as Cassiopeia, but it's a pretty cool one. Another very competitive card, I think this is going to be a bit of a staple, is the hyper rare Earthen Vessel. A lot of people are running this. It's pretty necessary for any of these ancient box decks or like Roaring Moon, anything like that. It dipped down to like $50, but has gone up to 55. I think this is going to be steady for a while at about $50 unless something comes into format that just destroys the ancient trait. But it seems relatively popular. Roaring Moons seems to be a consistent deck. Again, some of these cards are going to be heavily determined on World's performance. I don't really think this one is going to be affected too much. It's going to drop over time as more of them get on the market. I'm sure a lot of people have been picking these up for max rarity decks. $55 for a hyper rare, it's probably one of the most expensive hyper rares out there right now. It's going to go down eventually. It's just a matter of time. Not one I would invest in or really worry about right now. If you pull it, might be best to just sell it. A couple more cards people have been talking about from the competitive scene as well as collecting is the Duskull line. So anyways, Duskull, it dipped, but pretty consistent at about $23. I could see these going between $20 and $25 pretty consistently. Again, price is going to be determined on how it performs at Worlds. Same with the Dusknoir. It's going for $25 right there with the Dusclops. Very consistent. This one went up on release actually a little bit. Hasn't really gone down too much at all, maybe a buck or two. It'll be consistent. I'm not really too focused on picking these cards up, especially at the price. I think they could go down. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think once the ETB and the booster bundle drops and like more of this is accessible, more has been opened up and the market is flooded with Shrouded Fable singles, I think a lot of these cards that have been up there or competitive are going to drop. I wouldn't worry about picking these up right now. Don't FOMO over it. I think they'll go down eventually. Another popular card that has dropped a lot is the Persian illustration rare. This card was going up to like $42 on release, but obviously, it's dropped pretty steadily. No signs of slowing down. It's gone down $10 in a week. I could see it going down another 10. I do think this is going to be one of the strongest cards in the set though. Once the dust has settled, Persian, this gives like Team Rocket vibes real hard right now. It's, Persian in an apartment looking out at the dark city. Great artwork. It really captures like how it's, showcased, I guess, in the anime. Very cool card. Again, goes great with that 151 master set. I know it's not a master set for 151 if you're getting cards from outside of there, but if you want a Kanto illustration rare gallery, adds to it. Now, one card that has been a pretty big winner is the Houndoom. On release, I was seeing these relatively cheap. I did a little short talking about it on release. The prices weren't really out there yet. It was the day of release. Everything was kind of all over the place. Houndoom didn't make the top 10. Now it's sitting up there at number 8 on TCG Player at least. It's been very consistent at $25. Doesn't really show signs of dropping. This is probably a lot of people's favorite card. I think it might be my favorite from the set, honestly. There's some good ones. Nothing too amazing, but this would probably be the card I'd be most excited to pull. Very cool card. I don't think this one will slow down. I think it'll be consistent, in the 20s. Long term, it might go up. If pull rates are still hard once the ETBs drop, it seems like batching. Some people are getting good pulls. Some people are getting awful pulls, like myself. If you haven't seen my Shrouded Fable opening, terrible pulls, worst pull rates I think I've ever had. But yeah, maybe I got good luck coming in the future with a better set. Houndoom, I think this has strong potential to kind of match like a Groudon. I don't think it'll be like a Magikarp. There's just not enough cards in this set for it to be as rare as the Magikarp. But artwork wise, fan favorite wise, I think it has potential to kind of grow. I wouldn't really worry about picking up a bunch of them if you're thinking investment. I'd maybe grab one if you want to at this price. I don't know if it'll drop much if it does, but I think it does have potential to go up even more looking at 6 months to a year down the line. Now for a few cards that I think have potential to grow. They've dropped and seem to be leveled out a little bit. We'll go through them real quick. First up, we got the Horsea. This one spiked up. I wouldn't pick this one up thinking, it's going to go up more immediately. I'd keep an eye on it though. If this drops down to like $10, I'd say it's worth picking up. Again, Kanto Pokemon Original 151. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. If it dips below 10, I don't really see it staying there long term. It seems like throughout all the sets, any Kanto Pokemon has a bit of a premium. It's Horsea. I don't know if that's anyone's favorite Pokemon, but it is a cool card. It's nice. It goes with, your Kingdra a little bit. Different style artwork, but really cool card nonetheless. I say keep an eye on it. I wouldn't pick it up at $15 if you love Horsea. Probably worth it. For me, I'm keeping an eye on it. If it dips down below 10, I'm going to pick one up. Another one is the Cresselia. I think this is a really beautiful card. I'm sure it looks great in person. Again, I don't know if Cresselia is anyone's favorite Pokemon, but this card's on a downward slope, going slow. If it dips, below 10, maybe $8 for this guy, I'd pick up a couple. I have a feeling it would look amazing in a PSA slab, but as we know, these illustration rares are pretty difficult to grade. A lot of Scarlet and Violet era is just not coming out of the box in great condition, but I think this one has potential, especially in a PSA 10, a slab. I think this one will look really good. Keep an eye on it as well. One that's a no-brainer to me is the Zorua for $10. I think this is a great price for this card, and honestly, I think in the next month, we might see this one spike up to $15. I don't think it's gonna, it's not gonna blow up anytime, probably in the rest of 2024, but very cool card. A lot of people like Zorua, Zoroark, and to be honest, this artwork is great. I think to me, it's in the top 5. It might be a contender for, number 2 or 3. It's right up there with the Houndoom for me, honestly. $10 is crazy to me. I think it's going to go up. It's kind of steady here right now. It doesn't show signs of movement, at least not much movement, maybe a buck or two here and there. I'd say pick a couple of these guys up. I think it has potential to go up to $15, $20 eventually, maybe more. Like we've seen a lot of these illustration rare cards kind of blow up out of nowhere. Zorua kind of has the chance to me. Don't take my word for it, but I think this is the play to make if you want to buy a single right now. Again, the set's pretty new. It's very volatile. It's all over the place. But this is one I'm confident in myself. I think I would pick up a couple of them at this price. Last two cards I want to talk about is the Okidogi and the Pheasantipede illustration rare. I'm not really talking about the Monkey Dory. It seems like it might see some playability, so it's a little more expensive than these guys. But the Okidogi has amazing artwork. I know the Pokemon is kind of mid in my opinion, but this artwork goes real hard. It's kind of got the same vibes as the Groudon card. And I think there's potential here. It's only going for like $8 right now, $8.30. I could see this card going up to like 15 bucks. Again, it depends on the popularity of the Pokemon. It might be a huge flop. People might hate Okidogi. I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to the games, what mythical or legendary Pokemon people like. But artwork wise, this card is really good, and I think it is definitely worth the $8 it's going for right now. Pheasantipity as well, artwork, super nice. It's going for $6.75. Still on a downward slope. This card might go as low as $5, and I'd say if it does that, it's like a no-brainer to pick up. Basically the same price as a Shrouded Fable pack. Odds of you pulling this in a Shrouded Fable pack are pretty low. Way smarter to pick this up than rip packs for it. Again, I don't think it's going to go up drastically or anything, but it's one to keep an eye on. I think just like the Zorua, I think this one's undervalued for what it is. But again, it could go up, it could go down. I wouldn't jump the gun on this one. It might be one of those like cards that stay at like $3 forever. But the artwork, to me, the artwork is worth what it's at right now. All right, guys, so that's my little recap on the Shrouded Fable singles 1 week after release. As expected, a lot of these cards have dropped. Nothing new here. I'm sure you know that before you even clicked on this video. But some of these cards, I think, have potential to go up from where they're at now. Keep an eye on cards like the Houndoom, the Horsea, cards like Cassiopeia and Zorua. I think there's potential for plays there. And that Persian, if that goes down to a good price, I'm definitely picking it up. I think a lot of people really like it. Definitely in my top 3 from this set, for sure. All right, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think of Shrouded Fable? Is this set good or bad? Personally, I still think it's mid. They could have done a lot more with this set. It is what it is. It's weird to have a holiday set in August. It's still summertime. We've got a nice bright set coming out in Stellar Crown in just a couple of months. It's kind of weird to release this spooky set here, but it is what it is. I don't know why the Pokemon company chooses to do what they're doing. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.